one having almost 27 hours, some having 18. I mean, when you hear that as a Windows user, you're going, thank God. Battery life, impressive.
That makes this X Elite 64% faster in this test.
I think this chip is going to change the trajectory of what Windows laptops are going to be.
One of the things I love about this Surface now that it's X Elite is we are not losing performance when we are on battery.
Turns out it's awesome, like straight awesome. Really good performance, even when emulating x86. Awesome battery life, like crazy good battery life.
This guy has to say a lot of stuff about this new chip, and this hype and this type of news that are just circling in the internet all around the world. Just these Windows laptops, these Windows machines are just destroying MacBook laptops. Just look at this, how pathetic it looks for Apple. Just, yeah, that is embarrassing, guys. New Windows laptops will blow you away. Now, check it out.
On this laptop is impressive. And safely say, that you can jump on a plane with a Snapdragon X Elite laptop, something like the Asus VivoBook S15, and catch a 12-hour plus flight. As long as you have 100% battery life, you can watch as much content as you want, and you will be fine.
This is the first time ever that we have a laptop at a great price with great features that competes with the Mac and even beats it in multiple ways. Wow, good job Microsoft, good job Qualcomm. This thing is fantastic. I can genuinely recommend this to friends, to family. It's a killer machine. You will not be disappointed.
The performance is really fast in synthetic benchmarks. The S15 is on par with basically any of the top tier laptops right now, and if you compare it to what Apple has, it's in between what a MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro can put out. Now, when I tested it in workflows with apps that are natively built for ARM, you get really nice performance on this device. Now, none of these apps really stood out as being faster than expected, like they weren't beating their x86 counterparts, but there were no obvious deficiencies when it came to performance on native ARM apps.
All right, guys, we have our scores, and this is impressive. We have 550 points on the M3 Air. Of course, it does thermal throttle, but the X Elite Surface got 841. That is a difference of 53%. So even though the clock speeds ran low, the performance is here. If we take a look at the M3 MacBook Pro that has a fan, that scored 633. So the X Elite still smokes it. That is very impressive in terms of performance. Windows laptop people out there, you've got to get yourself one of these because it is absolutely amazing for a thin and light laptop. I am so impressed. And very fast and impressive, even with emulating x86. So I'd say it still works just fine in emulation. This is extremely impressive for the X Elite. All right, let's hit export here. I'm starting my timer. And out of the get-go, the X Elite might be going quicker here. I know the bar is larger, so let's see what happens. All right, guys, I am impressed. Wow, okay. So the M3 with 8 gigs took 1 minute and 53.95, basically 1 minute 54. The Surface with X Elite took 1 minute and 39. So even without graphics acceleration, just because the CPU is fast, we have 16 gigs of RAM, it beat out the M3 with 8 gigs. Now the M3 with 16 gigs is 1 minute and 3 seconds, so that does still win out. But the graphics here aren't that powerful anyway, so I guess that doesn't matter. I am just really shocked that even with emulation, this is not natively supported with ARM on Windows, it still did faster. That is crazy.
Finally, I can say finally, Windows laptops actually, and in a lot of tests, they're beating MacBook laptops in most of tests. Like, yeah, I have no. You need to take a look at that yourself, guys. You just take a look. Yeah.
So overall, does the new X Elite beat out the Mac? Well, in a lot of ways it did. In a lot of ways, more ways than we've ever seen before. And even in the test that it lost, other than some of those graphics, it wasn't by much. And overall, This is one impressive machine. For $13.99, 512, 16 gigs to get great battery life, to have a nice screen other than the reflectivity, nice keyboard trackpad, nice speakers. It's nice. It's very impressive. And just using it day to day, just the snappiness, the responsiveness. I've never felt a Windows laptop that was so snappy and responsive. So if you're looking for a laptop that's Windows based and you're using email, web applications, general programs, even if it's not yet fully optimized for ARM on Windows, this is the first time ever that we have a laptop at a great price with great features that competes with the Mac and even beats it in multiple ways. Wow, good job Microsoft, good job Qualcomm. This thing is fantastic. I can genuinely recommend this to friends, to family. It's a killer machine. You will not
content without actually charging it, or if I forget my charger for whatever reason. And that's what I did here. So I finished from Computex. I went to Tokyo, myself and my wife, had a little vacation. It was fun. Met up with Danny Wingett and his family, as well as also JV Tech T. It was great to just hang out with friends, chill. It was an awesome time. It was great. But of course, I had to come back and I had to catch a flight. Now, the laptop I'm using here is the VivoBook S15 from ASUS. This thing is pretty slick. This is a Snapdragon X Elite laptop. Very nice overall in terms of build. This is not a review of the laptop yet. Again, I am just using it for battery life purposes. And just give you a natural test of battery life here. But we've got a ton of ports, 2 USB Type-C ports on the left-hand side, 40 gigabits per second, full HDMI. On the right, 2 USB Type-A ports, 5 gigabits per second, which is cool. I wish I had an SD card slot, but I digress from there. Now, you've got a really comfy keyboard. Honestly, that really stood out for me on this laptop. I was shocked how good this keyboard felt. Probably one of the best I've used in years. The screen isn't touchscreen, but it's a 3K OLED display. Very nice, DCI-P, color rated. Nice trackpad, Dolby Atmos in the speakers, but hey, I'm gonna be on a flight, so I don't need that. I just need to connect my headphones, and that's where we start this journey. I'm on my flight. I've got some shows to watch. I went ahead and downloaded some stuff on Amazon Prime Video, full season of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the first season, and of course, Jack Ryan. And first off, this display is bright enough, especially while watching content. Doesn't matter whether you're watching shows or some YouTube videos as well. And I went ahead and I did that. I watched content on the flight. I wanted to see how well that actually handled. Now, I will tell you this, on the flight itself, I was able to connect to the internet and also watch YouTube videos. So I spent some time watching YouTube videos and also watching my shows. And you know what, let's just take a look. In-flight update for you guys. I have been using the VivoBook S15 throughout this flight. So I started off, I watched the show, and then my downloads just didn't play. So I was fine. I was able to connect to the internet and watch a ton of YouTube videos. And then I went to bed. So I kind of watched for about like 3 hours or so. Crashed for a bit, did some work when I woke up, and then I would watch it again. But about like 2 hours and 32 minutes left on the flight. So using the laptop, I can safely say that I can use it for a long flight for about like 12 hours. Had like 30% of battery life left with watching content and using it. I started at 4%, so you can see where that actually lands. But this is pretty cool. As a Windows user, I like this experience. I like the fact that I don't have to charge it. I've been charging my phones, the iPhone, my Galaxy, everything else except the laptop. So that's cool. But I wanted to just kind of give you that entertainment feel. So I landed here in Toronto, and laptop's still working. Battery life is down to 14%. Started at 84. It was a 12-hour flight. I watched around 7 to 8 episodes of shows, and then about maybe 2 hours worth of YouTube content on here, and that was pretty good. I mean, this is not a scientific test. Did some work as well, so some work browsing for another like 2 hours or so. I can safely say this will get you at least through a 12-hour flight without any issues. So take it as you will. Very intriguing. So you can take a 12 hour plus flight and still have enough battery life. Now, this is a full day, as I'm recording this right now, this is a full day after I left. Have any questions or any comments, let me know. Otherwise, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and always enjoy your entertainment. Seriously, man. That's impressive. Finally, for Windows users.